What's up, real ones? Welcome to Let's View It. And all I want to know is, are all of you guys okay? Did you guys survive the 3-hour TikTok ban? I hope all of you guys remain strong and was able to dig deep and survive the TikTok ban. It was horrible. We had teenagers all across America whining about how TikTok is not working to their parents. And the parents were like, shut up and join Redbook or Rednote, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what's the correct way. It seems like more people call it Rednote. And for those that are kind of confused and like, what are you talking about? Let me help you out. So let me start like this. As most of us in America know, whether you have TikTok or not, that they were going to ban it. I think the date was set for January 20th. But surprise to all TikTok users across this beautiful, great country, last Saturday, January 18th, 2024, when we opened our glorious TikTok accounts, we saw this.
Sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the US. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. We are fortunate that President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. Please stay tuned.
Now, instantly, like I find everything else in life, I found this funny. One, because we're talking about a social media app and somehow our whole government wants to ban it. And right when it gets banned, they already know Donald Trump is working with them. That's how important this app is, right? But not only that, Donald Trump himself wanted to ban TikTok. It wasn't like a left or right thing. It was a whole America national security thing. Everybody in politics said it should be banned. But now, I guess Donald Trump wants to save it. Now, my brain instantly went to this. Oh, I see. They're gonna try to make Donald Trump a hero by saving TikTok. Go Trump! Now, even crazier than that, the following Sunday morning, my 10-year-old daughter comes out her room and says,
Dad, TikTok works again. Donald Trump saved it.
Now, of course, she doesn't really believe that because she's my daughter. But what do? I go on to TikTok and all us TikTok users received this.
Welcome back. Thanks for your patience and support. As a result of President Trump's efforts, TikTok is back in the USA. You can continue to create, share, discover all the things you love on TikTok.
Then you hit that little continue thing, and it literally resumes right back like it never left. Now, I find it interesting that their first statement is, thanks for your patience and support. What kind of patience? You weren't even gone for less than 24 hours. What kind of patience do they think that we need? What do they know about us that they feel like it took a lot of patience to not be on TikTok for less than 24 hours? And secondly, we weren't patient at all. This is where it gets really good. This is where I show you the TikTok ban has completely backfired on America. You see, before when they would threaten TikTok because of a national security issue, which by the way, a lot of people think TikTok is brand new. TikTok was released in September 20th, 2016. So TikTok has been out for over 8 years. So if TikTok is used by Chinese people or the Chinese government to steal our data, how long do they have to steal our data before we see what they're going to do with it? What are they going to do with it? What are they going to do to know that I'm broke as hell? My credit score is like -10. What are they going to do with this stuff? To know that we eat crappy food every day, that my rent is way too high, and then the Chinese government's going to take all this wonderful information and do what? And do what? They don't even have a credit system over in China. They don't do credit scores and all that stuff like we do. But I don't want to get too much into that right now because I got a lot of clips that are going to talk about what's really happening. So back to what I was saying. When they first used to threaten to ban TikTok, it seems like they do it every year, right? They never actually made a date to banned TikTok and said, this is when we're going to shut it down. They finally did that, and it was supposed to be January 20th. Now that they made a date, the Americans were so impatient that they started downloading an app called Red Note or Red Book. However you say it. But it's a Chinese app, strictly Chinese app for Chinese people in China. We all started downloading that before they even stopped TikTok. So how is that patient? That's not patient. We were like, well, let's switch right now. Now, this is where it got bad for American politicians or the people that run America. When all those Americans ran to that Red Note app, they instantly learned we are not the best country in the world. And our government has been lying to us about everything about China. The way it's ran, making them the enemy, making it sound horrible over there. They lied about everything. And the American people are learning this directly from Chinese citizens that live in China. They're showing us their apartments. They're showing us their city. They're showing us their prices of food. And they're telling us how the government supports their citizens. Now, I don't want to get into too much detail because I'm going to show you for yourself these videos. Now, why the Americans are learning all this stuff, they're getting upset. Some are crying. Some are making jokes about it. But one thing they have all in common is they all know now that America is not the best country. And not only that, it's not even close. We are way off from being the best country. We have been lied to. And I've been telling people this all the time. When people would approach me and say, well, how would you like to live in China? Or you don't think this is the best country in the world? You know what I would tell them? I don't know. I never lived in another country for me to actually have a real opinion about it. Now, if I'm going to accept that my opinion is whatever I always hear around me, then yes, it would be the best country in the world. But for me, I don't know for myself. And usually people that are telling me that this is the best country, they don't know for themselves either. It's all been propaganda. So anyways, what happened was when they officially stopped TikTok that Saturday, I'm sure a bunch of people instantly went to Red Note, even more people. And they were like, okay, we need to bring it back as quick as possible. And that's why they brought it back. It had nothing to do with us being patient and Donald Trump. It had to do with the fact that we were impatient. How they created us and molded us to like and be addicted to social media. They were getting beat by their own monster. We couldn't wait. We wouldn't wait. We started switching before you even stopped it. So we weren't patient and we're not supporting you. You're supposed to be supporting us. But anyways, that's the backstory. TikTok threatened their ban. They actually did it for a few hours. All the Americans ran to Red Note and realized we have been scammed and bamboozled by our own country. So right now, I'm going to show you some of the reactions. Like I said, sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're sad, sometimes they piss you off, but it is what it is. So you already know. Let's view it.
I might sound stupid, but one thing I realize about this whole Red Note situation is that I'm still shocked that you guys have 2 jobs to cover living cost. And from all these years, I thought you guys don't eat fresh vegetables because you don't like eating vegetables. I never thought like it's expensive. I never would thought fresh vegetables are expensive. Like, I couldn't understand.
So what you guys just saw right there was a Chinese girl from China. And basically, they thought that what their Chinese government told them about Americans was lies and propaganda. They didn't believe it. When their government would tell them, you know, Americans work 2 jobs just to barely get by, they thought they were lying, I guess, to not make Chinese people to want to go to America. They thought the Chinese government was doing what the American government does to Chinese people, lie about them, so we don't want to go over there. But unfortunately, yeah, we do work 2 jobs and we eat a bunch of processed food because that's what America gives us. We have to understand that this is not how the whole world operates. This is how America operates because America is a corporation.
Do you guys know Elon Musk's mother lives in Shanghai, and she has a Retinal account for almost 1 year? That's funny. That's ironic.
Well, it is. It is. If China is so bad, it's so bad, why would one of the richest men in the world have their mother live there? Explain that. Explain that. You know, a lot of that China communist talk, it never made sense to me. I'm a person that thinks for myself. And all I ever heard was they're not free, they're always held down, they're not allowed to do anything. And I would instantly think then, so when I watch an Asian movie or a Chinese movie and their stars are making those movies, are you saying after they're done with the movie, they have to go back to their prison cell or something? They're now locked up. They don't get to walk around and go shopping. Speaking of walking around and going shopping, why are all those Chinese people walking around China going shopping? I thought they were slaves. I thought they were held down. And why do I work with this Chinese lady from China, and sometimes during vacations, she would go back to China to visit her family? If it's so bad there, how is she able to do this, and why would she want to go back? It never made any sense to me, never. How did Bruce Lee come over to America and become a movie star? If China is so bad, wouldn't they just kept him there? I never got it. I don't care what opinions people say. If my reality isn't lining up with what they say, I'm questioning it. I'm questioning it. Nothing I've ever seen has ever showed me that Chinese people are scared of their government. They don't even say that. It was always just us. It was always us.
I'm just having eye-opening conversations with people on Reddit where I was asked like 10 minutes ago, what do you eat? What do you eat for 3 meals a day as an American? And I had to be like, oh, I don't eat 3 meals a day. And they're like, why? And I was like, well, I can't afford to. I'm single and I work 3 jobs just to maintain ownership of the crappy house that I'm in now. So what I do is I wake up in the morning and I drink a cup of coffee and I take my medication that helps me not want to unalive myself during the day. And that also takes away my appetite. It gives it back for a brief moment, but between the depression and the medication, I usually don't want to eat. So it's okay. It's okay that I can't afford to eat because I don't want to most of the time anyway. And then for dinner, it's anyone's game. I take free stuff wherever I can. But most of the time I just try to like get something going in the slow cooker, like a roast and potatoes or carrots, something that will give me the bare minimum of protein and carbs to keep going. And they didn't know what to do with that. And then I was asked, is it true that you have to pay for ambulances over there? Like if you have a heart attack or something, like you have to pay to like be taken to the hospital in an ambulance. And that was an eye-opening conversation because I'm sitting here and it's the 7th year after the last time I was taken anywhere by ambulance, and I never paid that bill because it was for 11 miles and it was $19,000 7 years ago. And I never paid that, so I sort of had an internal celebration when it fell off my credit report, which they don't have in China. Finish your dinner, my Chinese friends, because there are starving people in America.
Okay, so even my mind was blown when I learned this fact. In China, they get free medical. You heard that right. They get free medical. The slaves of China get free medical. That communist country gives them free medical. We all know what medical does to American citizens. We all know we can't afford that crap. We also know there's no reason for any of this to cost that much. That ambulance ride should never cost $19,000. How does it cost $19,000? Do they just make these figures up in their head and say, hey, if you can't pay for it, then get insurance, which is going to cost you $400 a person in your family. So if you have 4 people, that's $1,600 a month, and you probably won't even use the insurance for at least 5 months. But in that shitty country, China, they give it to them for free. What bastards! I'm so proud to be an American. And yes, they don't use credit reports. You see here, when you try to buy a house, what do? Ask for credit, ask for this and that. And of course, even if you can afford it, your credit might be bad. So you don't get the place you want to live in. In China, they tell you how much it's going to cost, you pay it, and you move in. Goddamn communist.
Please stay for this, because I've reached the part in this whole like class consciousness part where I'm just filled with the most impotent rage, and like I'm talking that white hot, I need to sink my teeth and into something and scream kind of rage. Because what do you mean that it never had to be this hard for us? Like, what do you mean in other countries they don't have to spend 20% of their paycheck on groceries? What do you mean in other countries everyone can own homes because they're not paying $2,000 a month in rent, or that their mortgages aren't like their entire paycheck? What do you mean that people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours and they can easily afford their life? And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week, just me as a single parent, to like barely make ends meet, and I'm penny pinching every single second, and like there's so much of life that my kid misses out on and that I miss out on because of money and like work and no social support net. And you mean to tell me that it didn't have to be like this? They keep us in these chains on purpose, and it never had to be like this. Like, I did everything right. I went to college. I had to drop out of college to take care of my mom when she was sick because, again, no social services, like, no safety nets. My dad worked his whole life and died and left everything to my mom. My mom was disabled, and she lived on credit, and, like, she barely made ends meet, and she did everything she was supposed to. And I did everything I was supposed to, and it just keeps getting worse.
I told you these videos would show different emotions. Here, you can see someone that's clearly hurting, that's clearly tired, because most of us Americans feel like her. We're just busting our ass, making sure we can keep busting our ass. And in the meantime, we get nothing that's truly fun, any benefit or rewards for it, except for that you get to live another day to bust your ass. You want to put your kids into basketball camps and things? That can cost thousands of dollars. And that's just a little thing to benefit your kid. And what's pissing her off isn't so much that she's struggling. It's the fact that they did it on purpose. They did all this on purpose. None of these prices are real. Like I said, why does a doctor visit cost so much when you're just getting a checkup? What actually happened? What did he use? What is the business putting out that made it cost that much? Nothing. They just want to say it costs that much. America got their people believing that inflation is corporations raising their prices. That's what inflation is, right? But then you got the corporations telling the people they're raising their prices because of inflation. Is it the chicken or the egg? Which one?
If you're American, don't go on Red Note, because if you go on Red Note, you'll realize how garbage America really is. They was in the comments of people's posts asking them, y'all really got to work 2 jobs? Y'all healthcare really not free? We're in hell. We're in hell. You don't want to know that.
You see, in China, they look at Americans as a joke because they think that we fantasize that we're free, that we actually believe that we're free, but they know that we're not. And we're not free. What's so free about America?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shanghai. Step into China's world of advanced transportation and stunning architecture. Join me as we explore Shanghai's vibrant cityscape under the evening lights.
So that's an example of what they made us believe, right? The first picture of all those poor kids, poor Chinese people around sticks and whatever. But then when you go see for yourself, that's what China is. A big, cool ass city. Their technology is better, their food is better, their housing is better. Everything is better in China. Everything. Except for their basketball teams.
You know what sucks about this whole thing? TikTok had to get banned for us to realize that other countries were actually living better than us and we're not as great or even come close or ever been great at all. Fuck the bullshit Donald Trump's talking about, make America great again. We never been that. We've been bamboozled, lied to on a consistent basis, and it took us losing something for us to realize a country everybody was talking shit about lives way better than us. There's no way somebody in China who has a family of 4 paying $500 a month to live in Shanghai, the capital of the city, in a high-rise apartment for 550 American dollars. To feed that family of 5 is $30 a day. There's no way we have to live like this. We don't have to live like this. But at this point, it's like no turning back. And we've seen what it's like in other countries. Who would want to fucking live here? This place is fucking dirty as shit half a fucking time. This shit fucking sucks. I am talking to so many people out in China on this Red Note app, and they're taking pictures and showing me things. 2 pounds of banana is 6 yens. That is 94 cents in American. A pound of banana here is almost $6. Why are we living like this? Why are we doing this to ourselves? We don't have to. They're fucking us. The American government is fucking us. And the sad part is they're gonna ban TikTok. And you know what? We're gonna turn around, we're gonna forget all this, and we're gonna go about our day, because that's all we've been doing. And this is why this shit gotten so fucking bad.
That's the truth. Even though all of this is being exposed, even though Americans are realizing that we're not the best country, there's still gonna be Americans making up excuses for why that is. I promise you. They're gonna say, well, then they must get taxed a lot more, or they get less freedoms, or you're not allowed to have a gun. Whatever the case may be, whatever you're making up, it's not true. They don't pay more taxes. They get to do what they want, shop around, travel the world. Whatever you're thinking is just something somebody told you. And if I'm wrong, then I'll admit I'm wrong. There are apartments for $80. Now, they're not that great, but they're bigger and better than American studio apartments. $80 a month. That's unimaginable. Now, if you're paying $550 a month for an apartment in China, what do you think that's gonna look like? And again, you can't get a room in America for $550 a month. And later in this video, I'm gonna show you one of those apartments.
The funniest part is American citizens wouldn't even be talking to Chinese citizens if the U.S. government didn't try to ban TikTok because they claimed TikTok was going to push Chinese communist propaganda, right? And then a bunch of Americans went and joined an app specifically designed for Chinese citizens that was cleared by the Communist Party of China. And then suddenly we have cross-cultural exchange between American citizens and Chinese citizens. American citizens start to realize that Chinese people are people. That honestly, it feels good that some of y'all, I know you don't travel, but you're like, oh my God, look, they have groceries like us. That blew my mind. A lot of y'all were like, they have houses like that. It feels weird. I don't know what you thought they were doing in China. Feels weird. But the opposite side of that is the fact that the Chinese thought a lot of true things about us were actually communist propaganda from China. That is they thought their government was lying on us. Like, I've seen the comment sections where people would be like, yo, our government, the Chinese government said that y'all Americans have to pay for your own ambulances. Like, that's crazy. That's like a lie. They're like talking shit on capitalism, and legit Americans have to be like, no, for real, we have to pay for our own ambulances. Like, ambulances aren't free. And they're like, yo, what? Okay, but like that bullshit about your kids possibly needing like a bulletproof backpack, like that's crazy. And we're like,
This is how messed up America is. That when Chinese hear the truth, it sounds unbelievable. Like, how could that be possible? That's how messed up we are? Come on, we gotta be better. We deserve better.
We're taking away your app. Okay, we're just gonna go over here. No, don't do that. Hey, why are their groceries so much cheaper than ours? Ah, fuck!
You know, just more of the same. Everyone realizing how much cheaper, how much better. And there's no excuse for it. China has way more people than America. And also, it's not like when we say they're paying $80 for an apartment, no, it's not made out of bamboo.
Are you ready? All right. I'm sure that we have all experienced someone telling us when we talk about how bad it is here in America to go and see what the standard of living is in China. Well, we took your advice. And I can guarantee this was not the outcome they were expecting. Did you know in China that 95% of their population own their homes? Did you know in China that they have almost completely eradicated homelessness? It is 0.18% if you want to be exact. Did you know in China that there are no credit checks or credit scores? Did you know in China that law school is under $800 a year? Did you know that the people in China thought it was made up that the children here in the United States, well, the ones that can afford it, need to purchase a bulletproof book bag? Did you know that the people in China think that it's so wild that us Americans feel like we are truly free because we have the right to have opinions, but we don't have the right to make any choices? Do you know that TikTok is banned in China? And if you let our government explain it, it's because China's a communist country and they want to control what you see and what you say. So America is following the footsteps of a communist country, but it's not against our First Amendment rights taking it away. Got it. You see, they like to demonize socialism and communism because it does not benefit the elite. Our government is saying that it's constitutional what they're doing here with TikTok. Do you want to know what else is constitutional? The right to protest our government. The Declaration of Independence states that Americans have the right to replace their government. We have a right to change or abolish a government that is destructive to our rights. Biden gets on TV and warns us that an oligarchy is forming. My friends, we are already in an oligarchy. The rich and elite already control everything. These are all things that we already know, but things like, oh, I don't know, TikTok put it into a visual perspective. America has quite literally gaslit us when it comes to everything. We are aware, and they do not want that. Our American government thinks that we are all stupid. Pretty much everything is public access. You just need to go look for it. Have you seen how many politicians have bought stock in Meta since this TikTok ban has started? Fucking wild. Did you know that between Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Musk, just those three men, that their net worth is almost $1 trillion? But we have over 40,000 veterans homeless on the street. Collectively, there are almost 700,000 homeless people in the United States. And did you know that there are almost 16 million vacant homes in the United States? Did you also know that over 50% of Americans are just one missed paycheck away from being on the streets? Did you know that they don't pay property taxes in China? So if they own their home and just so happen to lose their job, that is still their home until the day they die. Do you remember when I said that the American government likes to gaslight us? Yeah, they have gaslit us to actually thinking that we own our shit, but the reality of it is we lease that shit. So in America, if your home is paid in full and you just so happen to lose your job and you can't pay your property taxes, guess what? They will take your home.
Now right there, he had a lot of information about China and he broke it down good. Look at how drastically different that is. Just the free medical and the fact that if you buy your house is now yours, there's no property tax. Just after 70 years or when you turn 70 or something like that, you have to renew your property, which is a small fee. It's not like our property tax that we have to pay every single year until the day that we die, just so that they stay in your pockets. That's it. I always ask, well, who owns the land that I'm living on? Can I talk to them? Can I make a deal or something? Now, like this guy said, Redno put everything in a visual for Americans. The Chinese people actually showed Americans their homes, their food. They introduced them to their families. Chinese people are hella nice and very open. They're nothing like Americans. Nothing like Americans. But with that, now I'm going to show you the visual. I'm going to show you this guy showing his apartment in Shanghai, I believe. And he pays around, well, I'll let him tell you afterwards. But check it out.
I've been seeing some people do this, and seeing as I'm about to move out of my apartment, I'll show you guys how I live on the other side of the world. Currently, I am living in Shenyang, which is the northeast part of China. I'm originally from Wisconsin, so the weather here is basically the same.
So I was wrong. It wasn't Shanghai. It was Shenyang. But I was close because when Shang was young, he was high.
I moved here about a year ago, and this is the entrance to my place. The lobby is decorated kind of like traditional Chinese, which is kind of cool, but it feels a little old. And then here are where all the deliveries and whatnot are made, and you just come pick them up. So we'll get in the elevator, and you just scan your key fob. There's 12 buildings in my community, and each one has 58 floors. We'll just skip past this part because it takes like a whole minute to go up to the 32nd floor. Your ears pop and everything. And this is the hallway going to where the apartment doors are at. My neighbors have a rabbit for some reason out here. I don't know why, but we'll say hello. Seems pretty healthy. Everything's pretty chill about it. Then we go into where the apartment doors are. I try to decorate my door for the holidays. These are from the previous Chinese New Year, and I don't have a key. I just need my finger to unlock it, and we'll go inside. I'll take off my jacket and then get on my slippers because it's customary here. And this is my place. I live by myself, but I have a bunch of slippers because people come over to hang out. Living rooms aren't usually this big in China, but seeing as I'm an American, I want to feel more like I'm back home. But the couch is the landlord's, the TV is mine.
Now, just looking at what you just saw right there, let's be honest. In America, 1,500 up. We haven't even seen anything else in the house. 1,500 up, right? Just keep that in mind. And then keep it in mind as he continues to show the rest of his apartment.
I have the computer hooked up to it. Also, the floors are heated, so I don't really need to wear slippers, but I like to. And here's the kitchen. I have an oven, which is uncommon in China, and a dishwasher, which is also uncommon. Here's the laundry / storage room. My washer is also a dryer, so I don't have to have both. And dryers are not common in China as well. The fridge is a little small, but it's just me in this house, so I don't really have to worry. Here's the dining room. These couches are supposed to be in the second bedroom because they turn out into a bed. And then here's the view of the street. The street on the left is one of the most busy streets in Shenyang. So getting around in a taxi or their Uber called Didi is kind of annoying. Here's me saying what's up. Then this is the second bedroom that I kind of converted into like a gaming room. There's shelving, and here's the landlord's TV that I didn't really like. Then we'll head to the second bathroom. It just has a stand-up shower, nothing too special. Then this is the main bedroom. The bathroom has a see-through window, a heated toilet, and a full bath. Then this is my room, the master bedroom, which is the final stop on this tour. Now, I'd like you to guess how much it is per...
Now he's going to say he wants us to guess how much it is. Now, right away, we know it's obviously cheaper because of the whole video we've been watching. But let's just say this is in America. What would it cost? 35, 4 grand? Easy? Now let's see how much it actually cost him.
But I should tell you we pay 3 months or 6 months all at once.
That's how much it cost. That's how much it cost. $546
A month, bro. Damn.
But he said they have to pay up front 3 months or 6 months. But when you're paying the prices you pay in America, let's say the average is $2,000 a month. They want the first and the second, so that's $4,000. Then they want like 1.5 times the rent to 2 times in deposit. Let's be nice and say 1.5. So that's $1,500 more. So that's now $5,500. Now let's take our $5,500 and apply it to his first 3 months he paid up front. You can basically pay up to 6 months up front in rent in China for that place for what it's going to cost you just to move in to this place if it was in America. How is this possible? How is this possible? There's no way there's that much of a drastic difference between China and America to excuse that kind of price gap. We are being scammed. We are being bamboozled. China, their government is trying to make good lives for their people. In America, they want that pressure on us. They want that stress on us because they don't want us to think about it too much. They want us to be too busy to ever think about anything, stress out, be depressed, and then feed Big Pharma all the rest of our money. And I've been trying to tell people this, that the schools and everybody has been lying to us and probably does lie to us because, one, they say it too much. How many times have you heard that America is the greatest country growing up through your life? Way too many damn times, right? Imagine if you meet me or if you knew me and every time you saw me, I'm like, hey, you know I'm one of the greatest guys ever, right? And then you see me like 2 hours later and I'm like, you know I'm one of the greatest guys ever, right? And then you see me the next day and I'm like, I'm so great. Have you ever met anybody as great as me? At some point, you're going to be like, why does he keep telling me this? It wouldn't sit with you right? You'd be like, if he's so great, why does he keep announcing it? Why does it seem like he wants to make sure that I believe that he's great? And then to add on it, let's say I keep stealing from you and using your money. Hey, bro, buy me lunch, please. I'm a great guy. Don't you buy great guys lunch? But then when you needed help and you called for me for help, I couldn't do it. I was too busy. I was too busy being great for someone else. And that's exactly what abusers tell their victims, right? If you've been in an abusive relationship, and I'm not trying to trigger anyone, but if you have been, a lot of times they'll tell you, ain't no one else gonna love you, right? Or maybe they downplay what they do and say, if you go with someone else, they'll kill you. And that's basically what America tells us, right? Oh yeah? You don't like the struggles here? Well, imagine if you were struggling in China. They wouldn't even care about you. They would kill you on the spot. They will put you in a cage and never feed you and make you do everything they want you to do. And then come to find out, just like a victim of an abuser, when they leave and go somewhere else and find someone else, all of a sudden, they're loved in a way that they didn't know they could be loved before. That's what America does to us. That's what school programs are for, to brainwash you into thinking that you're in the best system and the best country. And they say it so much that you start to believe it blindly. That's one of the biggest problems with people today, is they believe things blindly for no reason at all. For an example, I was on TikTok one time and it was about men and women relationships. And this one person comments, it was a girl or a lady. She says, have you ever thought that maybe all guys are jerks and they tell you to shut up and try to control you? And all this stuff, right? It was all negative. And all I said back was, well, I'm sorry that you got hurt. And you want to know what she responded?
I didn't.
That's right. She said, I didn't. So I said, so you have an opinion about something that you did not experience? In fact, you experienced the opposite? And then she goes on to say, well, yeah, basically every woman I talk to says this. So I responded with this. Well, me personally, I don't make generalized opinions about society and people from other people's opinions. That doesn't make sense. How can that be my true opinion if I never experienced it? How can it be my true opinion? That's like me saying, you know what? eating dolphin tastes so damn nasty. And someone goes, oh, how did you have it cooked? And I go, oh, I never ate it. And then they're gonna go, well, how do you know it tastes nasty then? Well, because a lot of people I talked to told me it did. You see how that doesn't make sense? How can that be my real opinion if I never actually tasted it? I could taste it and be like, holy shit, that's good. It's the same exact thing when we talk about different countries and stuff. How do you know unless you went there yourself to live there, not to visit there, not to go to war there, to actually just live there like a regular citizen? How would you know? You don't know. You're just listening to what the schools tell you and all these older people told you because the schools told them, and all the propaganda that got to the older people. And of course, it would be nice to believe you live in the best country. So why try to argue it, right? Just accept it. It's way easier to accept it than put in work and find out that it's not true. So that's the video on how banning TikTok completely backfired against America. And now a bunch of Americans are learning that we've been bamboozled and we basically live in a big glittery third world country. And I am curious on what you guys think about this. So comment below and tell me what you think. Are you still thinking we are the best country? Are you mad? Are you pissed? Do you think this is funny? Do you want to go to China right now and pay $546 a month for a big ass apartment that you could never afford in your life and then live like a king? Or do you just want to stay here, work 2 jobs and get nothing for it and just continue to tell yourself, continue to lie to yourself that you're in the best situation in the whole wide world? But no matter what you think, I'm still gonna need you to hit that bell like the hunchback. Also click that hit checker button and sub ride with me. And I'll see you on the next trip.
Day and night. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. All my life. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. Can't help I. Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.